Hello everybody, I'm Dean Karstens and this is Dean's N-Scale Trainings. Today I'm going to talk about manual switch machines. If you have a number of switches, one or more switches that are close up to the edge of your layout where you could reach them, you might want to try a manual rather than a remote. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about the Caboose Industries ground throw machine. Now, as most of you know, I primarily use Atlas track. My most recent layout, the Conejos Valley Railroad, is using Atlas Flex track and number 6 switches. Now, with Atlas, you only have about one option for a switch machine. This is a manual switch machine. It's on a number 4 switch, but they're all the same pretty much. As you can see, it works very nicely, goes back and forth, has a positive locking operation. But the main problem is it's way, way too big. Here's the car compared to the switch machine. As you can see, it's about the same length as a 40-foot box car. When I was growing up in Iowa City, my brother and I used to often walk through the yards of the Rock Island line there, and we'd see these switch machines. They were about, 1 foot square and about 6 inches high, but nothing like this. So let's talk about the Caboose Industries ground throw. Now this ground throw, or manual switch machine, seems to dominate the industry. I looked on Google and various places, and I could not find anybody else that made a ground throw machine. So, however, they are much smaller, although still a little bit too big to be realistic, but they have to fit your little fingers, so they have to be reasonably sized. So they're much smaller. They kind of look like a manual throw for a switch that you might find on a real railroad. And they're very cheap. They're inexpensive. They're $3 to $4, depending on where you go to find them. And they're very, very reliable. And they also are spring-loaded, so they force the switch to one side or the other in its operation. So here's the completed yard area. As you can see, I'm starting to put in ballast and play around with scenery, landscaping, but all the ground throws have been installed, and you can see them here. Here's what a normal installation of the ground throw looks like. For my manually controlled switches with a ground throw, I used the Caboose Industries number 222SN code 55. It says it's for code 55, but it works for what I'm doing here, which is code 80. So the ground throw is very nicely designed. It just goes back and forth and moves the throw bar as you move this, pull this back and forth. It's spring-loaded. So it holds it against the, it holds it in both positions. It comes with this set of adapters for just about anything else. I used this one with a double pin, and this I've already installed it in this ground throw, but you just cut it off from the spew and push it in and it locks. I also cut off, as you can see, this one has a double pin. I cut off the extra pin. Now, there is one that you might think you might be able to use, which is this one with just one pin, but this pin is fatter, So you either have to drill out the throw bar on the switch or file this down, which is pretty hard. It's pretty difficult to do. Anyway, the rest of these I don't use. To make the installation simpler, I designed and printed this 3D part to go underneath the switch machine. Here are some dimensions if you want to make a similar adapter out of styrene or wood. I'm putting the finishing touches on this switch machine. I've glued this down. I've drilled the 2 holes, and now we're ready to install the machine. And you see I've ballasted around it. Okay, I'll make sure it works. That looks good. Sometimes your 2 tracks are too close and there's not enough room to put in the ground throw mechanism. So here's what you do about that. Sometimes when there's not enough room for to put in the ground throw, you can move the track. In this case, that's what I did. Here's the siding that goes over to the engine house and the other one that goes out to Romeo. You can check the plans to see it. In the original plans, the track here was a lot closer to to this one, and there was absolutely no space for the ground throw. So what I did was I added a short piece of sectional track here. This is the 9.5 inch, about a 1/4 inch length that I cut down, and that shifted everything out, and that gave me plenty of room to put this in. So that's a solution if you can move the track. There's another way if you can't move the track. As you can see, I moved the ground throw further away outside the second piece of track and connected it to the turnout that I'm trying to control with a rigid rod that rides inside a styrene cylinder, a long styrene cylinder. Here's a photo of one of the linkages. The bend on the right goes into the switched throw bar, and the larger one on the left goes into the ground throw. After everything is installed, the one on the left is cut back to just clear. And here's what it looks like when the tracks are all ballasted. As you can see, it's virtually invisible. So that's it for this video. In my next video, I'm going to talk about installing a couple of remote machines under the table. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, Dean's N-Scale Trains, and give me a thumbs up. Thanks a lot for watching.